We are going to be joined here momentarily by Democratic State Representative Ragen Hatcher, who represents Gary, Indiana. Now, right now, there are several counties in Illinois that want to join Indiana in a remap, essentially. But this state rep is going to be explaining why she might want to join Illinois. So joining us now is Rep. Ragen Hatcher. Thank you so much for being with us. So first of all, explain to us, how is this even possible? And is it a possibility that counties in Illinois could actually leave and join Indiana? It sounds like Indiana saying, hey, come on over. But Governor Pritzker said that's not happening.
Yeah, thank you for having me today, especially to talk about this important issue. This was House Bill 1008. This House bill was presented last session in 2025 in our January to April session. And what it said was that we're going to take on these counties in Illinois that feel disconnected from the overall state government, and they can become a part of the state of Indiana.
Wow. And do you think, so what happens next? I mean, it has to go through the whole process, right? But how likely is it that this could happen? And how many counties are we talking? Did I read 33 Illinois counties have passed advisory referenda to secede correctly? I mean, 33, that sounds like so many.
Yeah, 33 counties have passed these kind of referendums that say, yes, we would like to be a part of this. However, it would take the legislative body of Illinois to vote for that and approve for this to happen. So I think it's very unlikely that it would happen. My opposition didn't necessarily come from Illinois coming over to Indiana. It came because being in a Democratic district in the state of Indiana, in Northwest Indiana, I felt oftentimes that Northwest Indiana and Indianapolis are underrepresented in the state house, and that our voices aren't necessarily heard on a regular basis. And so for the legislative body of the state of Indiana to reach out to these people in a different state to say, hey, we understand your pain, we'll take you in, we get it. It was a bit disheartening for me as a legislator here in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, you're saying kind of this is a two-way street here. There was a meeting this week. Tell me a little bit about what happened during that meeting.
Yeah, so there was some people that spoke. This was the first meeting of the Illinois Indiana commission that was created out of 1008. And there were some people there that spoke against, there were some people there that spoke for it. But ultimately, it comes down to Governor Pritzker and the Illinois state legislative body to take it up or not take it up. And the truth is, Northwest Indiana, with all our steel mills and all our industry here, Indianapolis being the main source of business in the state of Indiana, they are the biggest tax drivers for the entire state. And what we learned about these 33 Illinois counties is that they are basically underwater. They do not create as much revenue for the state that they take. And so for us to say, okay, we're going to ignore or not give Northwest Indiana and Indianapolis the same type of attention or representation that we're giving these outsiders, while Northwest Indiana and Indianapolis basically carry the state on much of the tax revenue, again, disheartening.
And what have you been hearing from your constituents? How do they feel about this? Has your office been getting calls? And if not, I assume those calls are going to start soon.
Yeah, our constituents want representation in Indianapolis, and we've had a number of times where Indianapolis and the state legislature have butt into issues dealing with Northwest Indiana, tax reductions, education reductions. They have inserted themselves into actual lawsuits with the state of with the city of Gary against gun manufacturers, and have killed that lawsuit for the city of Gary. So they're very in touch with what goes on in Northwest Indiana, but not in a way that is as supportive as I think they could be.
And talk a little bit more about just what you're doing for your constituents.
Yeah, we're always fighting. I have a great group of Democratic brothers and sisters in the state house that we all feel the same pain. The things that we encounter here in Northwest Indiana are the same things that are encountered in Indianapolis and also South Bend. Especially right now, we're in a big fight about redistricting and how we do not want to redistrict in mid-decade. So we're working hard on that. But the constituents in Northwest Indiana are such a dedicated and resilient group of people. And every time we reach out and say, hey, we need you at the State House. Hey, we need you reaching out. We need you to reach out to these other legislators and tell them to vote no for this or vote yes for that. They are in the fight with us.
So opposite ends of the political spectrum here, or different ends, but do you in a way relate to those counties in Illinois that say, hey, I don't feel like we fit with this state, we want to move over? Do you feel kind of in a way that you feel that way, wanting to possibly move to Illinois?
Yes, and I think that was one of the things that I said in my floor speech, that if those counties get to move here because they are more the camaraderie is there with the state of Indiana for them, and they believe in the same things and they have the same ideas, then why can't Northwest Indiana move into the state of Illinois? Because we definitely feel more connected to the Chicagoland area than we do this Indianapolis or Indiana area. So yeah, I did say that, and I don't know what would happen if that actually went through, because as I said at the beginning, much of the tax revenue from our steel mills and our industry here along Lake Michigan and Indiana is what drives the Indiana economy.
Okay, and you mentioned the redistricting. So that typically happens, with each census, not set to take place until 2030, but there's, yes, like you mentioned, that effort underway to do it mid-cycle. Where does that stand right now, and how do you feel about that effort to redistrict in the middle of the decade?
So here in Indiana, 7 of our 9 federal representatives are Republican. So we have 2, and those 2 are out of Northwest Indiana and Indianapolis, those same areas that we were talking about. And so it's so difficult to understand why those areas are now under attack. We're obviously predominantly Democrat areas. And we deserve a Democrat representative to represent us in Congress out of the state of Indiana. Right now, we're waiting to hear if we're going to be called into special session or not. I haven't heard anything one way or the other yet. So it's kind of a waiting game for us.
Okay, and finally, is there another meeting on the books in terms of the counties wanting to move? We had that one meeting this week. Is there another date set? How long until it's rediscussed?
I'm not sure if there's another date set, but I know they had to have one meeting per the legislation by mid-December-ish. So I'm assuming this was that meeting. I don't think there's really anything else to meet about until we learn what the state of Illinois is going to do.
All right, Indiana State Rep Ragen Hatcher, thank you so much for joining us.